Elise Monroe had always believed in fresh starts. After a messy divorce and years of living in the noise of the city, she longed for solitude. When she stumbled upon the old farmhouse outside Dellington for a shockingly low price, she didn't hesitate. The listing described it as rustic, with a touch of history. Elise saw a retreat, a quiet place to write, recover, and maybe rediscover herself. The townsfolk were friendly enough, but distant. When she mentioned the farmhouse, their faces darkened. Some warned her to avoid it. Others simply offered her a pitiful smile and changed the subject. "Don't mind them," the real estate agent had said. "People around here love their ghost stories. They say there's something strange about that house, but it's just creaky wood and old pipes." Elise moved in on a gray October afternoon. The trees stood bare, their skeleton arms scraping at the sky. The farmhouse was perched alone on a hill, flanked by whispering wheat fields and backed by a dense, dark forest. The structure groaned as she stepped through the front door. Inside, it smelled of dust and history. Wooden floors stretched beneath her feet, uneven and warped. Cobwebs clung to the high corners. There was a fireplace in the living room, an antique clock on the mantel that hadn't ticked in years, and upstairs 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a narrow corridor that led nowhere. That night, she unpacked the essentials, lit a fire, and curled up with her notebook. The silence was almost meditative, until it was broken by a knock. 3 soft, deliberate knocks. She checked the time, 3 o'clock a.m. Chapter 2. Echoes of the Pastelize froze. The knock had come from the front door. She waited. No sound followed. Her rational mind insisted it was nothing, just the house settling, or maybe an animal. Still, she tiptoed to the window and peered out into the dark. No one. The next morning, she brushed it off. But as she explored the house more, she noticed things she hadn't before. Scratches on the inside of the closet door, faint handprints on the frosted window in the upstairs bathroom, an old newspaper tucked behind the mantel, brittle and yellowed. The headline read, "Family Murdered in Lonely Farmhouse. No Suspect Found." The article was from 1963. It detailed the deaths of the Hawthorne family: mother, father, and 2 daughters, all found in their beds, their doors locked from the inside. No signs of forced entry, no signs of struggle. The coroner listed the cause of death as unknown trauma. The strangest detail: each family member was found with bloodied knuckles and scratches on the inside of their bedroom doors, as if they had been trying to get out. Elise's stomach churned. That night, she set an alarm for 2:55 a.m. If it happened again, she would catch it. It did. 3 knocks. Exactly 3 o'clock a.m. She opened the door. No one. Chapter 3. Whispers in the dark. Over the next few days, the knocks continued. Always at 3 o'clock a.m. Always 3 of them. Elise tried everything. She set up her phone to record. It captured the sound but showed no one on camera. She left the door open once there were no knocks, but she awoke to find the door closed and locked from the inside. She called the real estate agent. "You said it was just stories," she snapped. "It is," he insisted. "That place is just old. You're probably hearing echoes from the pipes or squirrels on the roof." "I'm not crazy. I didn't say you were." She hung up. Then the dream started. Every night, Elise dreamed of a little girl in a white dress standing at the end of her bed. Her face was always obscured, but her lips moved. "Let me in," she whispered. "Let me in." Elise started to avoid sleep. Chapter 4. The Diary. In the attic, tucked under a loose floorboard, Elise found a diary. It belonged to a girl named Margaret Hawthorne, age 12. The entries began normal: school, friends, chores. But soon, they shifted. October 12, 1963. I heard the knocking again. Daddy says it's the wind, but it comes every night. Always at 3. October 14. Mama saw her too, the girl at the window. She says not to talk about it, but I think she's scared. October 18. Daddy's not himself. He says the knocking is a warning. Mama won't sleep upstairs anymore. October 20. They tried to leave, but the car wouldn't start. The phone is dead. I hear scratching inside the walls. October 22. Tonight will be the end. The girl said she's coming. I don't want to open the door. but she said she'll come through anyway. The diary ended there. That night, Elise didn't sleep. She sat in the living room, staring at the door, a baseball bat across her lap. The fireplace crackled behind her. 2:59. 3:00. 3 knocks. But this time, something new followed. A whisper. "Let me in." Chapter 5. The answer desperate. Elise sought help. She visited a spiritualist in town named Clara. Clara was in her 70s, with long gray hair and piercing blue eyes. When Elise explained everything, Clara simply nodded. "I knew someone would come one day," she said. "That house is cursed. It doesn't want to be forgotten." Clara agreed to perform ants in the house. That evening, they lit candles in the living room, drew symbols in chalk, and joined hands. Elise expected drama, flashing lights, shaking walls, but it was quiet. Then Clara's eyes rolled back. "She's here," Clara whispered in a voice that wasn't her own. "Who?" Elise asked. "The girl." "Why does she knock?" "She's trapped. She wants out." "What happens if I let her in?" Clara's voice turned harsh. "You mustn't. She isn't what she seems." Suddenly, Clara screamed and collapsed. When Elise tried to wake her, she found Clara burning with fever, muttering the same words over and over. "Don't open the door. Don't open the door. Don't open the door." Clara never returned to the house. Chapter 6. Decentralized tried to leave. She packed her car and drove down the hill, but the road twisted back on itself. Every turn brought her back to the house. Her phone showed no signal. Her watch spun wildly. She was trapped. Days blurred. The knocks came every night. She stopped checking the door. The whispering followed her from room to room. "Let me in." She found old photos in a locked drawer of the Hawthorne family, smiling. In one, the younger daughter, Margaret, stood next to a well behind the house. Elise had never noticed the well before. She found it the next day, covered in vines and rusted shut. Something inside called to her. That night, the knock was different. Louder, angrier. Bang, bang, bang. Then a voice, low and guttural. "You promised." Chapter 7. Revelationalized dreamed again. She stood in the forest. The trees twisted into grotesque faces. Margaret appeared. No longer innocent, her eyes black pits, her mouth stretched in a permanent scream. "You didn't let me in," the girl said. "Now, I'm through another way." Elise woke to silence. No knock. No voice. She thought it was over. But when she passed a mirror, she saw a second reflection, a pale face behind her. Margaret. Elise turned, but no one was there. That night, she heard footsteps upstairs. Then the sound of scratching. When she opened the bedroom closet, she found words etched inside. "Let me in." Chapter 8. The Truth Lies found a hidden room behind the fireplace. Inside were children's toys, a cracked porcelain doll, and bones. Human bones. A girl's. She understood then. Margaret wasn't the one knocking. Margaret had been the sacrifice. The one knocking was something else. Something older. Something that needed to be invited in. And each family, over the decades, had either fled, gone mad, or died trying to resist. The knocks were a test. Answer them, and it enters. Ignore them, and it waits until you break. Elise was already breaking. Chapter 9. The final hour. On Halloween night, Elise made her decision. She dressed in white, lit every candle in the house, and sat by the door. The air was thick with dread. The clock ticked closer to 3. She whispered into the dark, "I know who you are. I know what you did. And I'm not afraid." 3:00 a.m. 3 knocks. Elise stood, hand trembling. She reached for the handle. The door creaked open on its own. Outside, nothing. Just the wind and the stars. Then something rushed past her, cold, invisible, seething. The house groaned. The floor split. The fireplace roared. Elise screamed. Chapter 10. Epilogue. They found Elise's body a week later, frozen in place, her eyes wide open, her fingers bloodied and raw from clawing at the walls. The house was sold again a year later, to another writer. They heard it too. 3 knocks. Every night. At a m.